Hello there, welcome to Transitional Artist, and I like to read the MIT Technology Review, and it keeps you up to date on not only the technology being produced today, but also commentary about the politics around it and the cultural impacts and things like that. And of course, art and technology are one and the same. And this one, if you can see, it is the November-December 2014 issue, and it's on inequality. And basically, the issue revolves around what's happening as far as the wealthy people becoming extremely wealthy and poor people becoming even more poor, and what role technology plays in that. And I mentioned this in my other videos about how digital technology has completely changed the art market, the music market, theater market, things like that, and how we produce art has changed drastically. For instance, I was just looking at an app that showed how to make music, and it really should be in quotes, because you can just type in the chords and then you have a list of hundreds of different styles of music that have been recorded live, but then transferred onto the app, and then you can adjust those a little bit, but it will then just play the chords in like bossa nova or rock and roll or bluegrass or any style you can possibly think of. And then, of course, you can sing and digitally manipulate your voice in any way you possibly wanted to. So then you've created this piece of music, and then you upload it onto things like Bandcamp or SoundCloud or Pandora or whatever, along with hundreds of thousands of other people who have used these very same apps because they're so simple to use. It's just point and click, and what happens then is that it completely changes the structure, the economic structure and the cultural structure of art and of the arts. And again, if you create a song then and you drop that little drop of music into the ocean of digitally produced music, what happens? Well, what happens is that the money, any income from that, usually goes to the people who created the app. That's what happens. And those people, as they accumulate more and more wealth, then have far more power to decide the direction of our society, which of course often is self-serving. They will ignore actual innovation and actual creativity just to keep maintaining the path that they're on. And that's what this is about. And there is a very good letter, and I will read this letter. And I'm doing this for critique purposes only. However, I highly recommend this magazine. It's excellent. Regarding, it's called Useless Nation, and it was written by Peter J. 42. And it says, regarding Mattathias Schwartz's love of labor, he's commenting on an article that was written previously about the erosion of human skills. What we now call white-collar jobs evolved from trade. The East India Company needed armies of clerks to record payments for the transfer of goods. A college in Hertfordshire, England, was created to train these clerks, and it was the blueprint for our education systems in Europe and America. Meanwhile, work on the ships, on the land, and in industry was hard. So the message became, become educated, and it will lead to a better life, such as learn to read and count, or you'll be stuck in the horrid machine jobs. This made learning actual skills unfashionable. It became a vanity thing. You could say you knew about Shakespeare or art or philosophy, while practical skills were seen as below educated people. Now we have nations of educated people with no skills other than to do services. And the value of knowledge is plummeting in a world where answers are clicks or swipes away. Our vanity has made a whole nation, or even a quarter of the planet, more or less useless. And that's pretty much the core of the discussion here on transitional artists, is that, and a little side note, there is actually a comment about this from another young man who's, many of you probably know who he is, but he was involved in starting Facebook and LinkedIn. I should have bookmarked this, but in any case, what he was saying is that as long as there is a financial interest in maintaining the status quo, we really won't have new innovations, and we really won't have new technologies. We'll just keep reusing all these other things. So things like climate change and cures for cancer and that sort of thing won't happen, but we will get more apps on how to create music. Yes, this man here, Peter Thiel. Because the extreme wealth will guide the culture of our technology and our artistic endeavors. So that's why things like land art and environmental art are interesting, because they're sort of stepping outside of that box and asking, are there new materials, are there new ways of using these materials that address some of the bigger issues outside of, what's my latest, am I going to put a new illustration on DeviantArt or a new song on Bandcamp? Not to trash either of those sites, but to say that, can we expand it out further? And at the moment we can't, because the conversation is being guided by a very few very wealthy people. And so that's the question of this generation. And it has actually been the question of generations in the past. For instance, in the late 1800s, you had the same situation where industrialists had pretty much all the acquired wealth. And their wealth, the money made just from their wealth, outmaneuvered the entire rest of the population of labor and things like that. So that's exactly where we are now. And so that's what we're going to talk about more here, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.